Hello and welcome to Matters on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. What are we talking about today? 5 years ago, streets across Nigeria shook with the chant of youths, their placards raised against police brutality, and their voices echoed in unison: end SARS and impunity. From Lagos to Abuja, from Port Harcourt to Jos, young Nigerians confronted a system they believed had failed to protect them. Today, October 20, marks the 5th anniversary of the hashtag EndSARS. Meanwhile, security operatives on Monday fired tear gas at protesters demanding the release of Nnamdi Kanu in Abuja. Activist Omoyele Sowore led the march despite a court order and police warning. Protesters chanted, "Free Nnamdi Kanu now. It's our constitutional right to protest, and don't tear gas us," before the police shot eventually dispersed them. Some shouted, "Tear gas cannot stop us," as they fled the scene. Security operatives blocked entry to Unity Fountain, the protest takeoff point, and denied access to motorists and pedestrians. Heavy armed personnel patrolled the area, leaving both Unity Fountain and the Three Arms Zone inaccessible. That is what we're talking about today on Matters. You can call me Solo, you can call me Mr. Solo, you can call me Souls, you can call me Mr. Souls, but officially I am Solomon of them. Welcome to the show. If you're just tuning in, this is Matters on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Security operatives fired tear gas at protesters demanding the release of Nnamdi Kanu in Abuja. Activist Omoyele Sowore led the march despite a court order and police warning. Speaking on a television interview, Sowore said the organizers had informed the police about the protest in advance. The activists alleged that some protesters were arrested and bystanders were forced into police vehicles. Take a listen.
Today is one of the darkest days in the history of Nigeria. EndSARS protest 2020 is 5 years today. So we are going to take a minute silence to recognize the heroes who were killed at the Lekki toll gate for EndSARS. Can you take a minute silence?
Silence, please.
May their souls continue to pursue their oppressors. Amen. It is not a tribal issue. It is not a religious issue. It is not a sentimental issue. It's a social justice issue for us. We are not here as Igbos or Yorubas or Hausas. In fact, if you look around very well, there are a lot of Igbos, there are a lot of Hausas and Yorubas. All united to ensure that our brother is brought back home. That they should end the sham trial that is going on at the Federal High Court. If they don't do that, they will get more. And they know that a lot of Nigerians are sitting with anger. It's not about Nnamdi Kanu alone. There's hunger, there's starvation in this country. There's political oppression. There's a lot of corruption going on under the Tinubu regime. So very soon, this crowd you see might be bigger than that of Nepal. Let the people be moving. Free Nnamdi Kanu now! Free Nnamdi Kanu now! Free Nnamdi Kanu now! Free Nnamdi Kanu now!
Samuel Shure talking to journalists during the Free Nnamdi Kanu protest. Joining me to help analyze this is Dele Fanimo. He's a journalist, he's a current affairs analyst, he's a broadcaster. Mr. Fanimo, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much for joining us on the show.
It's my pleasure here to be on your program today.
Okay, so this protest has generated national discourse for some days before the protest today. But let me start with a general overview about the protest. What do you think about it?
Well, for me, I don't have any reason to go against the protest because one is the inalienable right of a Nigerian, every citizen, to protest, insofar as it's peaceful. You know, there's this joke that there is freedom of speech, but freedom after speech.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if it's within the ambit of the law and the protest is not hijacked by hoodlums or some elements that could turn into a violent one, it is their right to protest. And I'm sure that we are beginning to see some level of maturity in our security agents, particularly the police. They now handle protests maturely, and rather than be antagonistic or trying to disperse forcefully, they try to maintain law and order. You recall that we had one last week. And up till now, there had not been any incident, any reported case of violence or attack on the protesters. So I think that's a good one. Now, the protest is about Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu would somewhat be happy that somebody, not even from his talk, not even from the southeast. You see the paradox in it? We are always up in arm against ourselves, the Yoruba and the Igbos. But today, a Yoruba man is leading the protest to ensure that Kanu is free. I think that becomes very instructive that we are not enemies of ourselves. But those political players hoist it in our face for divisive tendencies to also enjoy and make maximum political capital from our differences.
Playing identity and ethnical politics.
Yes, because that's what we've been battling with. Now today, how would an Igbo man now rate a Yoruba man? With Sowore, of course, for him to have come out, anything could have happened to him. He could get killed if the thing becomes violent, you know. So this is a clear case of we are united at our level, but at the top, they are united too. But they also use it as an instrument to divide us.
United in division.
In division. If you see them when they are sharing the loot, nobody asks you, hey, are you Igbo? No, it's not your turn.
You won't even know if they are PDP or APC or ADC. There's no political party
this there. Umahi, this current Minister of Works, when he was governor of Ebonyi State, I was the MD of a national newspaper. I had cause to visit him at home in his estate. While at the gate, the security man told me that Oga has gone on a walkout, that he'll soon be back. I waited at the gate. Lo and behold, as I turned my back, I saw 5 of them. And I was able to recognize 4 out of 5. Governors, all governors. They live in that estate. They went out in the morning for walkout. There was no boxing tournament. And they belong to different parties. So that is to tell us that it is high time we began to suspect these political players who have mastered the game of dividing us on ethnic and religious line to their own advantage, and then begin to see ourselves as one. Because in unity lies, the Northerners have their problems, but when it comes to certain stage, they come together and they say they are Northerners.
Especially when it comes to politics.
When it comes to politics, they would never say, no, I'm this, I'm that. The 19 state governors, there are Yorubas in Kogi, there are Yorubas in Kwara, but yet they are Northerners by geographical demarcation, and they never revolted. So it's very instructive that Sowore is leading this campaign and is also showing cause why Nnamdi Kanu should be released. Now, coming to Kanu himself, this protest may not likely make any impact. That is not likely to make any impact. Because I said it before this case started, that the best is to go through political solution. Let the whole of the Southeast rally around this man. He has erred. He's been prosecuted. But then, there are some people that are done worse than Nnamdi Kanu, but they are free today. How did they get their freedom? It wasn't given on the platter of gold. It was through compromise negotiation. And that's why, if Jonathan had been belligerent when Yar'Adua died, he probably wouldn't have been the president. But he was so calm and reserved. And people went into it. And that was when, at the National Assembly, they came up with a doctrine of necessity, which has never occurred. And what that means is, for the sake of the unity of this country, we are stepping down the Constitution. And let's find a political solution to this problem. And that was what I expected we should go on Kanu's case. But those who, unfortunately, those who want political capital from Kanu's detention shouted against it. The same way when Lamidi Adedibu, late Lamidi Adedibu, who they called then strong man of Ibadan politics, met with Abiola, MK Abiola, and was negotiating his release, though with some terms and conditions. The man was willing to accept. Abacha was really ready to release him, but some hawks overshadowed the doves. Eventually, what happened to Abacha? I mean, what happened to Abiola? He got killed in detention, and the rest is history. I don't want this case to even end. I want this case withdrawn. And I want government and well-meaning people, particularly from the zone where he comes from, to negotiate. Those who urged Abiola to remain in prison and fight on are the one enjoying democracy today. And none of them has ever thought of what becomes of Abiola's legacy, what becomes of Abiola's children, what becomes of his wives, what becomes of his business empire. So we had better watch it. Now, some people are afraid. Perhaps if Kanu comes out of prison today, it will upset the status quo politically in the Southeast.
Because of how strong it is.
Yeah, must we sacrifice a human being that blood runs his vein, who left a wife and children the last 5 years? I've not read anywhere or heard anywhere. It was never reported up until this moment that Kanu was allowed access to his wife or his children. You know what 5 years can be in the life of a human being. And every day he wakes up with trepidation. Forget about the posturing in the courtroom. No man will be in detention for up to 5 years that certain things will not be wrong with him psychologically. As we are here talking. If somebody comes in there and says, you guys are under arrest, you cannot leave this studio, we'll start sweating inside this AC. Something will be wrong with us.
Even for 5 minutes, the psychological toll it will take.
You understand? The trauma, and that's why when it became a little bit unruly in court the other day, people didn't understand. He was just trying to vent his spleen. That why should I remain in this place for indeterminable time? Because nobody can determine when it will be released except through two ways, either through judicial process or through political maneuvering. And I've always championed the political maneuvering so that there won't be any victor that won't be vanquished.
Okay, let's start with the first statement you made about the police being mature with handling protest. With what happened today with the tear gas being shot at the protesting people, do you still think there's still a lot of room, lot of work to be done as far as maturity with police and handling protest in Nigeria?
You see, in handling protest or whatever rules of engagement, you see, there are rules. Ordinarily, some people can be belligerent in handling issues. I am not there. I've not seen the video, but there are stages.
It's all over. It's all over the places, all over social media. I even played.
No, I've not seen it. I've been in transit throughout the morning period. So maybe when I finish this discussion now, I will go back and check my social media handles and see what is there.
And have your own personal view on it.
You understand? But then, you see, policing is onerous task. Those policemen, they are told, and I was privy to some of those engagements with the officers. That's why, as we speak now, they will be rounding off weekly briefing with the Commissioner of Police. All DPOs in Lagos State, they do an appraisal of what they have done in the last 1 week, what needed to be done. Messages will be passed to them for delivery to their men and officers at their various stations and all that. They won't ordinarily fire tear gas if there was no real threat. Ordinarily, you have seen in the last two protests that even the policemen were buying, before NSAS turned violence, we saw policemen buying bread and pure water for protesters. That's the way it should go. But most of the time, when protests become violent, the first line of attack is the police. And let's do a reversal of role. I'm a civilian. You are a policeman. Is it not the same blood that runs in my vein that runs in your vein? You want to live like I want to live. And if I see threats coming my way, I will have to defend myself. Tear gas is not to kill, it's to demobilize. We have not heard of live bullets being shot. We have not even gone to the level where we have to use water cannons. You understand?
Okay.
So I'm sure that something must have led to this. But an average Nigerian does not want to hear as if those policemen were robots manufactured in the factory. During the NSAS protest, a guy that just married barely 2 weeks to that protest in Ibadan was killed by the mob and they were slicing his manhood and everything and roasting it and eating at the spot. They burnt him alive with uniform. Now, if that guy had access to gun, would you if he's your family member, would you have encouraged him to allow himself to be killed just because people will complain? He has to protect himself. So it depends on what the protesters are doing that will make police respond. Now, there's a way you use minimum force, and there's a way you use maximum force. For instance, if you are carrying AK-47 and somebody from the crowd shot your colleague and is lying prostrate, dead, and you can also see in the crowd that other people are holding gun, what do? You just say, I surrender, kill me? No. We should always do a kind of reversal of role to now ask ourselves, if I was in the position of this person, what will he do? And that is not to encourage that they should shoot at will. But if they adhere to the rules of engagement, an average policeman will not just open fire anyhow. You recall that during that end bad governance, I think it was held last year or so. During that protest, you can imagine youths hijacking armor personnel carrier.
Now
and forcing the driver, who has opportunity of killing some of them, to drive around the town like a town service in APC. Yet there was no casualty recorded.
Now there are different three branches to the discussion. Now, first of all, we know our armed forces, our security, military and paramilitary agencies, law enforcement agency, we know that they have a rules of engagement problem in Nigeria. It's always been a general thing. And which I don't think that has been sorted out yet. While on one hand, it looks like it's not really been as bad as EndSARS, but we know there's still lots of room for improvement as far as rules of engagement is concerned. Then on the other hand, we know from lots of politicians not just in Nigeria, it's an African thing, where they've adopted the use of counter protest. For several persons that monitored, and I was one of those that followed the EndSARS protest. We know there were rumors. Let me call it rumors because it wasn't exactly confirmed that some governments, some clandestine government, for lack of a better word, arranged some counter protests to destabilize the EndSARS. As you've rightly pointed out, the first few days the protest was peaceful, and then it was like at the snap of the finger, everything turned violent. There were also videos of even protesters showing some agberos or some hoodlums coming through what looked like government van, infiltrating the protest. I mean, the videos were all over the place, where there was even instances where protesters were even shouting, "Look at this van coming in," and that would probably look like an online evidence of the fact that the protests were hijacked allegedly by the government of the day.
You see, let me say this.
So it looks like it's more complex.
I'm not going to defend any government as to their role in having a kind of
counter protest.
There is nothing you can take away from a politician. Winston Churchill said, if we politicians don't trust ourselves, don't believe ourselves, why should the electorate believe us? And that is very instructive. That shows that we may not be able to throw anything beyond the politician. So they are capable of doing any mischief. You understand? So as a result, it only calls for caution on the part of the protesters, the genuine protesters. Because Sowore is successful in his protest because there's a arrowhead. But when leadership becomes loose, it is very easy for either government or non-state actors to infiltrate their ranks. Because every of these protesters with their leadership in different cells have not two identical motives. Some will say, maybe if I go out with my team, they will call me to negotiate. Some will say, we just have to destroy things. Some will say, that politician that went to Abuja to represent us for 8 years and there was nothing he brought to this community, this is an opportunity to deal with him. For instance, how do you juxtapose protest with looting? It doesn't gel. But sometimes that's what happens. That's why I always feel that if there's going to be a protest, there must be an arrowhead. Just like we know that Sowore is the arrowhead of this protest. So, and he has his boys who also assist him in organizing this protest. So it will be very difficult for unknown cell to infiltrate their ranks.
So do you think that's what happened with the NSAS, the fact that they didn't have like a public figurehead?
Yes, there was no well-structured head visible to government, visible to the public. And so, who gives instructions? For instance, if you're going to be another round of protests, why shouldn't we have somebody in Ibadan that is identifiable, Dele Fanimo? Why don't we have somebody in Lokoja that is Solomon Ofem? So that there will be then somebody in Lagos, Sowore, who will call me and say, this is the information I have as against what you are doing in Ibadan. Re-strategize, move this way, do this way. And I will call him and say, Sowore, move away from Ikeja, move down to Ojota. This is what I know. Things like that. So it was very difficult.
But nonetheless, that didn't stop government from arresting certain persons that were suspected of being one of the NSAS leaders, because, as I said, I covered NSAS extensively. As a matter of fact, there was a particular guy, a particular young man, I followed his stories diligently, where he was unknown man, uniformed man, attacked him at home, just like we already heard stories that several of the NSAS perceived leaders were, were laid in their house and they were, secretly taken off. He was one of those that were taken off. Fortunately for him, he had, for lack of better word, stubborn family members, that were placed here and there. And then they made a media blitz.
Okay.
Where they went round, both social media went round a lot of radio and TV stations. Some men came to our house and hijacked my son. Some men came to our house and hijacked my brother. And it became so big that the DSS later had to now make a statement 2 weeks later that he was taken to Abuja. And later on, after months, he was finally released. And just trying to imagine out of about maybe 15 or 20 persons that were taken like that, where a lot of them are still languishing in prison up till now because they didn't have friend or family members to speak or do media blitz on their behalf.
You see, it's quite unfortunate that we are still talking about this at this point in time of our history. But the reality is, it happens. That's why I always say that it's a sin to be Mr. Nobody in Nigeria.
Indeed.
That's the way we structured it. Before you can get anything, you must be somebody to somebody to somebody to somebody. You think that lady that got reprieve, that became national discourse?
Yeah, DJ Switch.
No. I mean that lady that killed her husband.
Oh, okay.
And was sentenced to death.
Mariam
Sanda.
Sanda, yes.
That lady is just one out of over 250 females on death row. Some of them are the exhausted appeal up to Supreme Court. So what they are waiting for is the hangman's noose. What the offense they committed could be circumstantial, not the real thing. Yet they're there languishing. My brother, I had an interview with somebody on death row some years back. He was on death row for 9 years in Abeokuta. Abeokuta was the closest gallows in the southwest. So once anybody is condemned to death, he's taken to Abeokuta. This guy spent 9 years. And you know his offense. He was just playing with his girlfriend. And the girlfriend, when it was late in the night, she wanted to leave for her house. This guy said no. So he started dragging her back. In the course of dragging her back, the lady was not ready to let go. And just brought a knife to threaten her. And before you knew it, in the course of struggle, the knife cut her wrist. Just a little cut. But as soon as the guy saw blood, he retreated. Enough for the lady to escape without her bag. And the lady went to
police.
When the uncle asked him, "Where are you coming from at this time of the night?" He said, "I'm coming from a man's house." Why are you looking so disheveled? He rough-handed me, even injured me in my wrist. Showed the uncle. Out of anger, the uncle took her to the nearest police station, and a case was incidented. They went to the guy's house. They met the bag inside. They went to search, and they found the knife, as described by the lady. And out of naivety, this guy owned up to everything that transpired. It was when he got to court that he realized that it was armed robbery. They charged him.
Wow.
So sometimes when we don't know the law, the way the law will deal with us. I'm handling a case as we speak. Here. This guy had been sentenced to life imprisonment. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm trying to intervene in that case. If you could be free. This guy, I never set my eyes on him. I don't know of his family. But a friend just mentioned it. I said, no, this guy shouldn't go for life imprisonment. He was taken to prison when he was 26. Today he's 31. He has spent 5 years waiting for death. A young, vibrant man. What did he do? His girlfriend, they were in the hotel room, and they had a shouting match. The guy is a chemical engineer. So, out of anger, just pour one of the chemicals in the lady's body, and the body was spilled. He was the one that even took the lady to the hospital to treat her. But the family said no, the case must go to court. And lo and behold, the judge happens to be a woman. and he was sentenced to life imprisonment. So we are filing a case to see if we can get him out in appeal. So that's why, you see, there are so many things that are involved in some of these things. And sometimes, if you know, you don't. This is Nigeria. I'm always talking reality. I won't come here to come and do showman. If you know you don't have the liver of Showore, please think twice before you want to say, I want to lead. Now, if you don't have the liver of Ganifa Emi, don't. Because so many people are in prison as a result of their involvement in protests. And they are forgotten. They are forgotten. In fact, they have not even started prosecuting them. They are awaiting trial, inmates in the prison. And they could be there. This guy that told you, when he was sentenced to death, he thought it was a joke. He went to appeal. The appeal upheld it, that he has to die. Luckily for him, at that period, the military left. So he could go up to Supreme. The lawyer handling the case happens to be a tenant. He used one of my grandfather's house as his chamber. After 9 years, when this guy came back to visit because he won in the Supreme Court, he was let off the hook. When he came, he prostrated before the lawyer. The lawyer couldn't recognize him. Because for 9 years, he never set his eyes on him. When he started narrating his story, it was sordid, and in fact, you have nightmare. He said a total of 502 people were hanged during his 9 years stay in that prison. And the hanging room is just the next door away. Jeez. He said nobody among the inmates can eat on Friday until, so the food for breakfast, lunch and dinner on Friday, and the one for breakfast, lunch on Saturday, nobody eats, because you don't know the next person that will be called out. And once you are called out, you cannot return to that cell. Is it that they hear you when that person is being hanged or taken out to face firing squad? The clothes he wore into that prison, when they gave him uniform, black uniform, he came back to wear it 9 years after, just because of playing with. What if he doesn't have anybody who could go on appeal and Supreme for him?
Now, you talk about resolving the Nnamdi Kanu issue politically, but it doesn't look like he have any political leg to stand on. So how do you think that will work?
Igbo didn't have any political leg. But some people who felt that this man shouldn't languish in jail, they went underground. As tough, as unyielding as Buhari was, Buhari agreed to let him off the hook. And the rest, they say, is history. Why don't we apply that to Kanu's case? Instead of this, we no go agree. But that man has his life to live. He's a young man. I doubt if Kanu is 50 yet. I don't know his age.
But as you said, I mean, there are some political elites in the South East that have been trying to that are against.
It mustn't be the Southeasterners alone. During the struggle for the validation of MK Abiola's mandate, Ndubuisi Kanu, was it? I can't remember the first name now. Kanu, retired Air Commodore, and a host of Southeasterners were at the forefront, genuinely fighting for the validation of June 12. It doesn't. Just like Sowore is doing now. It mustn't be the Southeasterners who feel that a Kanu out of the detention, will upset the apple cart for them. But the important thing is there must be, and those ones are not supposed to be within the purview of the media. Look, nothing makes a man recalcitrant as when you are showing the world who he is. I'll give you an example. When I was MD of Leadership newspaper, one of my directors heard against the company and the chairman. So this guy went about talking and begging everybody to come on. So when he came to me, and the chairman has instructed me that I should sack him. And of course, I don't have any choice. But I just felt, let me just delay it. Because it was towards weekend. That maybe by Monday, everything would have been resolved. This guy came to me on a Saturday evening. I said, your problem is individual problem. Why are you making it a general problem? Those who are begging to go and beg chairman, they have ulterior motives. They even use it as a way of seeing him one-on-one to negotiate something else. And they will come out and tell you that you have to give this man time. He's worked up. Before, by Monday morning, I will serve you this letter. By 12 noon. But if you are smart, I will advise you. Go and meet the chairman one-on-one. Make sure that the last visitor, just hang around at the gate. Make sure the last visitor leaves. Just happen on him in the sitting room. Whatever he says, if he abuses your mother, your father, your generation, just keep quiet and say, I'm sorry. I said, it won't last 30 minutes. I will calm down. And exactly because it was one-on-one, there won't be any ego. There won't be any pride.
No third party interference.
Yes, because the chairman would also want to show those who are coming to beg him that he is in charge.
And he's the boss.
He's the boss. But when it is one-on-one, at the end of the day, he came back. As he was leaving the chairman's house, the chairman called me. Said, Dele, I hope Geoffrey's letter is ready. I said, yes, sir. It's ready. He said, but what is your position in this case? I knew he had gone. I said, Chairman, this guy is a first offender and he works very hard. He's also a team player. And you don't get a whole executive director on the shelf. I don't know if you have somebody else you want to give me, but my work must go on. So, okay, Dele, I've pardoned him, but we must let him realize what he has done. I said, don't worry, sir. I will give him a warning letter. Say, okay, go ahead. Withdraw that letter that you have written. The letter I never wrote. And when he came back to my hotel room, he was frustrated. He said, no. I just gave you what you should do. So, in Kanu's case, as long as those who want to feed fat are the ones that are meeting government, Kanu will not come out of that place in time.
But why do you think he's still being held, though, despite several court appeal to the contrary, since the Muhammadu Buhari administration, the court have said the federal government don't have enough proof to prosecute him the terrorism charges, but he's still being held. Lots of people have postulated why. Some are saying probably because he's an able man, and probably because some are saying it's because the Igbo people are not united, really united in bringing him out because of the ones, So why do you think he's being held?
I'm a student. I studied peace and conflict
resolution. Okay.
You understand? And I know the more branch that sprouts in a fight, the more complicated that fight is to be resolved. A lot of things had crept into Kanu's case. Some political, some social, some psychological,
and some ethnic.
Some, you see, to me, the ethnic part is minor. It is a result of those three that I mentioned that brought about the ethnic profiling.
Okay.
You understand? Now, some people are enjoying.
I mean, why some people are calling the ethnics? I mean, we know what as you said earlier on, some people have committed even more crime, made more.
You see, it is not
walking free.
Look, let me tell you. I just gave you a narration about what happened to me up close when I was at the EMS in the national newspaper. You see, there's a Yoruba proverb that says, the more a crisis festers, the more it gets wiser. Kanu's case, while it was hot in the anvil, should have been beaten to shape. But some people deliberately allow it. The anvil is cold. The metal is cold. So it's difficult. A lot of things had crept in. When I say psychological, government may say, I won't be cowed based on pressure from some quarters to release Kanu. Let him go through the judiciary. If he's free.
I mean, but did you?
If he's sentenced.
But there have been several court orders.
You don't understand what I'm saying. The federal government. I am not holding brief for federal government. This is a case of state versus Kanu, not Dele Fanimo or Solomon versus Kanu. The director of public prosecution has his reasons for doing whatever he's doing. The Attorney General of the Federation
in a democracy, what reasons could that be?
See, law does not recognize sentiment and emotion. Just like a house, be it state or federal House of Reps, wants to impeach a governor or a president, and you are busy shouting in Lagos, whereas the fate of that president or governor reside in that hollow chamber. It won't make any difference, no matter how hard you pressurize. What I'm saying is, I am not saying Kanu is no longer Igbo. But as long as we begin to escalate this matter along these lines, it will be very difficult for us to get out of this. I said, what bothers me is not IPOB, it's not ESN, but what bothers me is that young man that has wasted 5 of his useful life doing nothing. Mandela, when he came out of prison, a BBC reporter asked him, he said, have you ever for one day feared for your life throughout your 27 years in incarceration? He said he lived every day of those 27 years in trepidation, believing that when he wakes up, that is the last day. So he had nobody to converse with, nobody to talk to. That because he is well read, and he was given some books to read, and he has his pen and biro. That was his company for 27 years. He said sometimes when he comes to court and is living back in Black Maria, he said he feels dejected that this is how my life will be wasted. But when he looks back and sees the sea of heads with hope on their faces, said they will look back and clench his fist, raise it high, and smile. Said that is the only symbol he was carrying back to that prison, a solitary confinement. So it's the same thing with Kanu. Let this man be released. Let him enjoy his family. Let him enjoy his wife.
One thing is for sure, though, the more they incarcerate him, the more they make him a hero and they make a martyr of him. That's for sure. Because I mean, they are having a protest.
When I was in secondary school, one of my teachers would always tell me, he said, "Dele, be careful. It is only when you are within the walls of this school that your problem becomes everybody's problem. That the moment you are out of that gate, your problem becomes your problem. It's an individual problem. You might be clapping for Kanu, encouraging him, but when he's left alone, there is something that comes to him that you are not there, I am not there, that assails him, and he feels, how on earth did I find myself in this?" That was why he was agitated the other time. When he was telling the lawyer, when I'm talking, you don't talk. Because what he's saying at that moment is, this is my life at stake and not your life. So don't tell me what to do. I need to defend my life. My brother, it is more psychological than physical. I read psychology at master's level. I know what I'm talking about. And those who are listening to me, if they understand psychology, they know. You can't assail certain things when you are left alone. Some women will say, marriage is a scam. It's good to be free. Now I'm a single mother. But go and check their pillows in the morning, early in the morning. You see that those pillows are wet from tears overnight. But for the optics, they come out brandishing that bold face.
I've also heard that a couple of persons said the federal government have been further complicating this issue. It's supposed to be a simple issue. Of course, we know where the Nnamdi Kanu issue started from, the secessionism and stuff like that. And I've heard people said, what's stopping the federal government from conducting a referendum in the Southeast? Do you want to leave? Do you want to stay? And then take it off from there.
Those who,
because these are some of the issues that make this the Southeasterners feel marginalized in a country that's supposed to be one.
You see, let me tell you, for us to properly situate this, there is nothing wrong with secession. We have seen countries. Eritrea came out of Ethiopia. South Sudan came out of Sudan and many other countries.
Yeah.
Pakistan came out of India. Bangladesh came out of India. So it's not a novel thing that Biafra will come out of Nigeria. And I'm also a believer that Odua will one day, someday, be out of Nigeria. But our forefathers who fought for independence, when that issue came up, go and read history, that there should be a clause that at any point in time, a federating unit feels uncomfortable with the whole, that he has power to secede. I don't know why they did that. They vehemently opposed it. That's why we are here today. Otherwise, the Scotch tried it in UK recently, but they couldn't get majority votes to secede. But Ireland did it. Today, Ireland is a different country. The Welsh are there. They are still agitating. So, what stops Yoruba becoming Odua Republic? What stops Biafra becoming a Biafra Republic? But those clauses, it's just like now. Politicians are on the field telling lies to the electorate that they want to create states. Only an illiterate will want to follow them on that track. Because it is almost impossible to create any state in Nigeria as we are. Now, if Southeast wants 2 states, for instance, you think Northwest that has 7 will want Southeast to level up with them. They will ask for 6 or 8. Southwest that already has 6. They are talking of Ibadan State. They are talking of Ijebu State. They are talking of Akoko State, Ikale State. These are sub-ethnic groups. So Southwest will be asking for 6. And you must get 2/3, which is 24, out of 36 states, House of Assembly, to endorse your proposal for a new state. Who is that? Which state will not bring his own agenda to the table before listening to you? Okay. At the end of the day, every street Ikeja will become state. Oshodi will become state.
Well,
that's why I said, you know, people just slogan, shout slogan. People sloganeer. People do a lot of things. But how many people sit back and think if this thing is visible? Politician coming to you to say he wants to create state. Which state? Anioma State. Where?
Let's end our conversation there. Thank you very much, Mr. Fanimo.
It's my pleasure.
A pleasure talking to you. That was Dele Fanimo. He's a journalist, a broadcaster, a current affairs and social analyst. Again, thank you very much for your time.
Always my pleasure.
Okay, it is now time for you to make your contributions. I've already getting some messages, some against what Mr. Fanimo said, some in solidarity with him, with what he said. So we're here to get all your opinion. 0700-903-903-903. Again, 0700-903-903-903 or 003-692-9933. Again, 0803-692-9933. You can also call or text us via WhatsApp, and WhatsApp line is 081-717-56338. Again, 081-717-56338. Hello, welcome to VOP.
Good afternoon, Solo.
Good afternoon, welcome to the show. Tell us the name where you're calling from.
Good to you, my God. How work now?
Well, thank God, oh my brother.
I'm Mazi Sonny calling from Ejalaba.
Okay, Mazi Sonny, go ahead.
Exactly. So, Solomon, I greet your analyst, Solomon. We particularly agree for him. He said that the case of Amnekale is a political. A political is 5 years a man in prison. What break up political? What did they do? What they don't want to free that man? Good 5 years, a child of 5 years, man. Solomon, I think that is that child man supposed to be in primary school. I think that woman they get to vanish, to languishing, to not see your family member, to not see your people, to not see your wife, to not see a child. And the Nigeria are still continue to detain the young man for there. Solomon, I want to ask you a question, Solomon. Nigeria said that it will be one Nigeria. So now, if your parents have a property, and that property then they in a different 3 men, and when the 3 men they divide that property into 2, and they don't want you to collect solo, how are you feeling? Are you feeling a happiness? What is Nigeria feeling to Igbo people now? I know liking it. See someone, I see someone, I know go back today. I this my house, I will pray. May God deliver this country so that this country will enter the chaos. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you. Well, he doesn't seem to believe that this is a political issue. It's a lot of things mixed into it, including ethnic. You know, that's what he's saying. Let's get other caller and hear what their opinion is. Hello, thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Fika. Good afternoon.
That was the name, please. Okay, Alagbado. Okay, go ahead.
You see, the man you got in there is your wife now, but people doesn't understand it. I used to listen him by 6 o'clock. She's very wise man. But people will not understand him. I'm a little man too. You see, I want to remember you. I came from Abate. I came from Central Interman Becoming. We are crying for Nigeria because we are to hear our cry. Not that we are weak. But so they get back to me. So that nobody has a monopoly of anything. That will be a time of Nigeria to get evils. This is the time we are begging Nigerians. Nobody has a monopoly of anything in life. Let him land the camera guy. So So I'm trying to tell them they killed the structure of the state of Nigeria from the same place. So now, having a man is convicted or they find anything guilty in his hand, we're not worried. They kidnap him against the law. Now, up to Kashmir, they never judge him. They are taking a political issue. What's the political issue? Can you, the first aviation minister went to beg Buhari. He said, no, we go to the judiciary. After now, I have gone to the judiciary and they asked him to go. He refused. What are they looking for? Nigerians, the so-called sacred cows. Nobody has monopoly of anything. It's your own time. Our own time is coming when you do begging us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and some of our messages here. Good afternoon, beloved VOP family. The man there is sent by APC. Let him go. I don't understand what he's saying here. That's according to Chioma Chibuzo. And Adiguki said this man has no idea what he's talking about. He's just beating about the bush. He's not even current. Okay, let's get more message calls. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Thank you for joining us. Tell us the name where you're calling from.
Yes, Obina calling from Ikosun.
Okay, Obina, go ahead.
Our brother that we talk about new states. I see new states as what we know benefit masses. The government that is talking about before now, let Nigeria breathe. Many Nigerians are not breathing well. Common men are not breathing well in Nigeria. Let the federal government do the needful and make sure that many Nigerians eat today. Many Nigerians are dying for hunger and they're not supposed to be so. Okay. That's my own opinion. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's read some messages. Let's read some messages from WhatsApp. Good afternoon to your guest. Your guest is partially correct. Is okay. These actually is still story. Okay, let's start from here. Good. Okay, you people should take it easy. The way you're antagonizing yourself in that studio on air is not good for we Igbos. We need to support Shuore with everything we can. Okay, good afternoon, my beloved VOP family. I don't understand what the man there is saying. No, he talks like APC man. They are shooting the protesters, and he said that he has no head. Chioma Chibuzo from Oshodi. Good afternoon, it's Adeyemi Kameru from Banana Island, Lagos. More of you who do not feel the brunt effect of Nnamdi Kanu, IPOB, ESN, territories, miscreants will understand what the people that they're sacked from their homes are passing through. Nnamdi Kanu ordered his gullible supporters to burn down Lagos and kill police and army. There is nowhere in the world that you order the kingdom of security and will not be called a terrorist. Okay, good afternoon, VOP. Are you aware that Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer was arrested with some people this morning without any violence? Tochukwu Obizem from Egbeda Akonwojo. Good morning, Adewale from Oshodi. Just that many Nigerians, intellectual elite professors and masses are ignorant. They don't obsessed the kind of body language, characters and injustice this current administration are introducing. There is no cope anywhere. President Tinubu using tactics to silence entire citizens of Nigerians and turn Nigerian to godfather dictator, as he did in Lagos when he's governor. But President Tinubu should remember that what's going around must come around. He can't plant yam and expecting coconut. History will surely be there forever. Okay, let's get some messages. Hello, some calls rather. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. Tell us where you're calling from. Good afternoon.
This is Wale calling from Ayobo.
Okay, Wale from Ayobo. Go ahead.
I did talk party with Mr. Adele Fadimo.
Okay.
The man really spoke to us. He didn't took my hand. But the only thing he said that I can disagree with him is that they should start going to the court. The kind of this guy is not going to the court. The court must have a say in this matter. It's pertinent for the court to have a say on this matter. The president will not lose the prerogative of fairness. He doesn't use the prerogative of fairness.
We can hardly hear you.
The court the case. Because this man has a case to answer.
Okay.
What's the case to answer?
Okay, thank
and
you.
I want to know that So one you don't have done it before. You don't help them. Let him go back to history and know what.
Sorry, we can hardly hear you. I had to cut the call. We can hardly hear you. Okay, let's see if we can get one call from WhatsApp. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. Tell us your name, where you're calling from, please.
I cannot hear you, but let me just say, man, if you people are hearing me, that man will just bring for that. Just a talk. I don't want to talk nonsense with bless at the barasa, but this is just a talk, no fair. Why federal government cannot just give us referendum? If you say people will vote more, people will agree for Biafra, no, people will agree for Biafra. We can't say everything. We know say we have to last. And them choose I'm calling for jail. Let me just say my name. Make people no go be like I no take my own. But that man will bring for that thing. I'm not really.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Chibuzo. Thank you, Chibuzo.
God bless you, people.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to VOP. Tell us the name, where you're calling from, please.
My name is Obina, calling from Ejibo.
Okay, Obina, go ahead.
Your analysts have spoken well, but I just want to ask them as a lawyer: are there anything wrong to bring Nnamdi Kanu out to sit down on round table and negotiate? Because Nnamdi Kanu did not just wake up one day agitating for Biafra because of the injustice against the Igbo nation. That's the reason why I think he wrote 5 things that Igbos need. Let them negotiate, because you, as you are there, you know that Igbos are marginalized. Everybody know. Bring him out, sit down on the round table, negotiate with him. We the Igbos, to tell you the truth, we don't want sensation. We don't want Biafra. But because of the injustice, if everybody was treated equal right and justice, nobody will be talking about Biafra. The injustice is not even, it's almost 99%. It's not, if the injustice is like 70 or is like 30%, we could have bear it, but it's 90%. Let this man, are they not negotiating with other bandits and the terrorists? This is pure injustice. We are talking about injustice here.
Okay.
Bring him out and negotiate with him. If we really need Biafra, what is in outside, what our properties in outside is more than what is in the east. We can't be building like that. We can't be investing like that. If you look at it, every woman, we are all human beings. We are all human beings. Let them reason with that man. Negotiate with him.
Okay.
Because if he died there, the chaos may be more than what we are saying now.
Okay.
It can't be so easy for Nigeria like that.
Thank you very much. Mr. Fanuma, I don't know if you want to react to that. He talked about the caller now just talked about negotiating with Nnamdi Kanu. I mean, we keep hearing stories that federal government is negotiating with bandits. We keep hearing that a lot of states, a lot of local government are negotiating with bandits. What is stopping them from negotiating with Nnamdi Kanu?
You see, I've listened to your callers, and
I mean, it's been mixed reactions. Some agreed with you, some don't.
Of course, I don't even bother myself about somebody agreeing with me or not. This is my personal opinion, and I have a right to express my personal opinion. But the general consensus is to let this man out of detention.
Definitely.
How best to make him come out is what we are talking about. I'm past the age of trying to show bravado over nothing. And I've passed my intellectual depth is much more than just going on the street and shouting. I'd rather go on the ground. I told you earlier that I studied peace and conflict resolution. And so I understand some of these things beyond the street optics. And the last caller almost agreed with me that, look, whichever negotiation that comes this way, whether government is the one showing willingness or the people that Kanu represent is showing willingness, but they must come. In fact, I've not seen a war that will not end on the table.
But what will it take for there to be a round table? What will it take for there to be a negotiation?
The thing is, you don't sit down on a round table with somebody who is still belligerent. Those who shout will not agree. They are much more than the few that are genuinely, mark my word, genuinely concerned about Kano, about Southeast. And those ones are in tiny minority. And until they allow that minority to be populated to the extent that they can have a voice, we will still be on this.
Okay.
So I am an apostle of negotiation, and I want a negotiated exit from detention for Kanu. But if we continue on this route, Kanu will have his day in court, and nobody can predict the judgment because available evidence will determine where the case will go. But if it's on negotiation table, it's going to be a win-win situation. Kanu will be out, the Southwest will win, the government of the day will win, whoever is coming next will win, and then Nigeria will be at peace. But if they are saying I'm talking nonsense because I said I didn't tell anybody here that we should take up arms against federal government, then that's their cup of tea.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's get more calls. Okay, I lost that. Okay, let's read more messages here. Let's see. Good afternoon, Solomon. Please always hear that I always hear that Kanu was released by the court, but please, was he released by the Supreme Court from Dadi Ozurumba? I mean, the court said that he should be released because the federal government don't have enough evidence to prosecute him on cases of terrorism. That's how far we know. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to VOP. Tell us where you're calling from, please.
Oh, my darling Solomon, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for calling. Tell us where you're calling from.
Yes, Peter. Solomon, my son, God bless you. I have been trying you more than 511 times.
Oh.
I'm telling you the truth.
Well, it's good you got me today. It's good you got me today. Thank you very much for trying.
May the Lord bless you.
Amen.
Listen to me, my son. Nigeria cannot afford any other civil war. Mark this, my word. Because if we try to have another civil war, it will be disastrous. I am telling you as an old man, I saw it during the war. I participated. This thing our brothers is doing now, the Yoruba and APC. I tell you that all of them will run away, my son. Listen to me, it's not easy.
Yorubas and APC, you're making this an ethnic conversation.
Okay, if Nigerians, I'm sorry. This thing we are doing now, it looks like a childish play, which is not good for this nation. Are these our children that have been eating with wild mouth, drinking milk and sugar? Let us come together. And if Nigeria break, the heaven shall not fall. Yoruba is agitating. Igbo is agitating. The Hausans say they want Arewa. I want to ask you a question before I drop my my issue. How many people that bandit kill in Nigeria? Is it not more than what we have been seeing? We that are old are crying for this country, and nobody arrests them. Now, Shore started this, and the Igbos have been arrested. This nation I am tired of this nation. Solomon, the amount will not pay you. The amount will not pay you. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Please keep on with this work you are doing. And you are person there. I don't know him, but his analysis, I love it. So may the Lord bless all of you there in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you very much for calling.
Yeah.
When there is pro-government protest, the police will join them and be protecting and even coordinating the protest. But once it is anti-government protest, you will see the police flexing their muscles. Are we having Nigerian police or government police? We are in democracy and peaceful demonstration. Let the police know that instead of doing eye service. John from Ijaniki. Thank you very much, John. It's almost time for us to go. Good afternoon. My name is Chigozie Okechukwu. Well, I believe on when he said concerning Nnamdi Kanu situation right now, but they should not allow him to die. They should not allow him to die there. If not, it will bring war. You know what I'm saying. Okay, the extraordinary rendition and kidnap of Kanu from Kenya renders his prosecution null and void. We are in dire straits. Our judiciary is very weak. That is the price to pay as a freedom fighter. We hope he is released very soon. Alex, thank you very much. Alex. Hello.
Hello, wise man.
Yeah, welcome to VOP. Tell us in the way.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Go ahead. Talk to us.
I don't know. This our country, I don't know what to say again. But this political dissolution, I mean, what this your analyst talking about, I is going to have. Is it that they will agree to do to the eastern region as they are doing to the other people, or they will tell him not to get involved in this again? Because this is before the civil war. Because this same agreement that they held in Aburi, that okay, we are going to do the after the agreement, they came and did otherwise. That made the war to happen. If they agree on this one, we just stick it because in Nigeria, I know they are law breakers, they are truth breakers, they are covenant breakers, they are liars. So I don't know. Okay. They should bring in. They are signing peace deal with terrorists in the north that are even dispossessing people of their home and everything. They are signing peace deal with them. There is someone that is fighting for his own right. You are not keeping him in detention. His marriage is by force. If someone says I don't want to marry again, leave him, divorce and go. Marriage is not by force now.
Thank you very much. Good day, souls. All I want is the betterment of my country in my lifetime. I wish most of us will love and see same. Sheikh Kot from Itire. Good afternoon, VOP. Nwabu from Surulere. Peaceful protest is the right of the citizens. Is police the strongest? Because assuming the protesters resist them by catching or arresting them, what will it be called? This is interesting. Okay. We politicians don't trust ourselves. Why should the people trust us? There is a widely verified source or record attributing the quote to Wisdom Churchill, so people should verify before attributing quote. Now I quote a verified Winston Churchill quote that says, "Never let a good crisis go to waste." And I ask, what opportunities can the people seize during challenging times? After any protest, it's usual that it ends achieving nothing, as opposed to other countries where the government bow while the power or out of power, while the government bow while in power or out of power. The fight for freedom for one man or a group of people is not a tea party game. Protesters will be brutalized, tear gassed, shot at, arrested, or even killed. Protest is not for the weak and uncourageous. If you are not ready to take the heat, don't step in the kitchen. Okay, thank you very much, Tay. Let's see. Let's see if I can read one or two before I round up. Good evening, VOP and good people of Nigeria. Ikena from Ikorodu. Please, it's high time this man should be free. Please, it's well if he has been convicted. The oldest man and some leaders from the southeast went to Buhari, but he said the case is in court. Now court has freed him and they are still holding him. Let the government convict him so we will know he is serving jail term. Please, the man should not die. I don't think it will be good if Nnamdi Kanu die. Thanks. One more and we're good to go. Oh, and this one is long. Oh, sorry, I can't read this. It's too long because I have to round up. Good day, Mr. Solomon. Having listened to your guest, I disagree with some of his submission in terms of Biafran liberation from by forced marriage with Nigeria. He cited examples of country that separated and heaven did not. They are living separately in peace. Same must also take place here in Nigeria. Time will tell. Valentine from Apapa. Okay, unfortunately, it's time for us to go. Thank you very much for your contribution. Thank you for being part of the show. Tomorrow is another day on the show. Matters on Voice of the People 90.3 FM, and the time 1:30 p.m. Thanks to Mr. Dele Falemo for his contribution, and of course, some of you agreed with him, some of you disagreed with him. It's his opinion, it is your opinion. That happens. Thank you very much. I am Solomon Ofem. Do follow my IG at SoloFem1 and at Twitter SoloFem. I'll see you again tomorrow. Good afternoon.